Hey, so today I want to talk about another thing, another random ass thing, another thing. I still don't know why I can't just ever say I'm going to talk about the thing and start with it. I don't know why I have to just say a random thing and then insult myself and then annoy myself. Anyway, just get to it. I'm going to talk about hobbies. Now, I'm definitely getting to a point where I don't know if I've made a video on certain things. Like I honestly feel like I've made a video on hobbies. I don't know why I feel like I have, and maybe I have, but I'm definitely getting to a point where I start like looking back in my videos and I'm like, have I made a video about this? And most of the time it's like yes, but then I like try to like re-change the title so maybe I can touch on the title again, but like maybe change it up so I'm not just like saying the same thing, but I don't really do much. But anyway, a lot of people have hobbies. Okay, I always love starting these very generic with the whole. I think a lot of people might enjoy hobbies or have things they like to do, but what is a hobby? I don't know. Anyway, a lot of people have hobbies. Obviously, there's people with no hobbies, but I mean, hobbies are just things you enjoy. It's not really like a topic that you could like go on for hours about. Be like, oh shit, hobbies are the thing people enjoy. Some people like baseball. Some people like to watch TV, play video games. Some people like to jerk it. I don't know. I don't think that's a hobby, but I don't know, man. Like, the point being is there's like a shitload of hobbies. There's a lot of hobbies. So many things. Like almost anything can be a hobby. Even things like collecting bugs, collecting shoes, scratching your ass, setting things on fire, mowing your lawn. Like anything can literally be a hobby. And obviously with the setting things on fire, that's when hobbies can literally be considered a crime. But but there's a lot of things about hobbies that I feel like can kind of be shitty in a way. Like, I think the first and most obvious one is that the majority of hobbies, Jesus Christ, my fucking throat is just going to town today. But I think like a lot of hobbies are very based around money, right? Like, there's a lot of hobbies that like you need money to enjoy, or maybe, or like you need like hobbies to like, I don't know, buy something relating to your hobby, or to go to like a place like, oh, if you like going to a museum, you have to pay to get into a museum. Oh, you like to play video games? Video games is probably one of the most expensive fucking hobbies. Like, oh, you want to play, baseball? You have to like sign up for shit and you have to pay and all that kind of shit. Like, so pretty much every hobby requires money. Like, the few hobbies that don't are usually stuff like, I don't know, like collecting a bug or something. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know, drinking water. Like, here's the thing, I don't know a lot of hobbies. Like, anything could be a hobby, but honestly when it comes to like me thinking of an example of a hobby, my fucking completely dead inside brain just cannot think of anything because I can barely think. But that's like the most prominent problem with some hobbies is just the idea that like some people physically cannot afford to have hobbies because either they're too busy working all the time to the point where they can't pursue hobbies, or that they just can't afford the hobby. Like someone's just like, oh man, I want to play guitar. Oh well, guitars are expensive. Well, shit. Oh, I'd like a skateboard. Oh man, that's too expensive. Can't do that. And I mean, a skateboard might be a bit much because you can buy like a really shitty skateboard for like, I don't know, like $10. I don't know. Anyway, that's like one of like the more common problems with like hobbies is that most people just don't have the time or money to have a hobby. And then what the fuck? Anyway, sorry, something popped up on my phone, so it always makes me think that my phone just fucking exploded or something. But another thing about hobbies is more of, I guess, like relating in hobbies. Like, because like it's one thing to like enjoy a hobby, right? But I think like when you enjoy something, like there's always that part where like like you wish you could talk about it, right? You like wish that you could like relay your hobby to other people and just be like, "Yo, I just fucking did this. That's so fucking cool." And then you hope that their response is like, "Yo, man, I did the same thing, man. That's fucking dope." You know? Like if you enjoy something, like if your hobby is like watching football or something, and then you like hang out with your friend and you're like, "Yo, man, so the the Steelers, they fucking got they got the fucking interception, bro. That was fucking wild, man. Did you see that shit?" And the person's like supposed to respond with like, "Oh hell yeah, uh, Marcuson or whatever the fuck his name is, the guy who intercepted it, man. That was a crazy catch and he just like ran the whole way and got the fucking touchdown through an interception. That shit was wild. Like when you talk about your hobbies, like you want to connect. You want like a back and forth. You want to like say something and have that person be like, "Oh hell yeah, I understood everything you said." Because I can definitely say for certain that as someone whose hobbies are playing video games and watching wrestling, if I tried to talk to anyone about any of it, literally all of it would bounce off of them. And the same could be said about their hobbies because I don't fully understand. Like I said, the only person I hang out with is my cousin, and his hobbies, nothing. He listens to music, and he likes to play Kirby. And while I have played Kirby games with him, it's kind of one of those things where like if he talks about Kirby so much, like my basic knowledge of Kirby is just the games we played. But if he just talks about Kirby, it's gonna bounce off me because I'm too fucking stupid to understand anything about Kirby. And his music, his love for music, and his love for TikTok, that stuff that's definitely gonna bounce off of me because while you can, like I like music, but while you can have hobbies that are similar, there's like miniature things within the hobbies that like cause it to just be like different. Like I said, like when it comes to video games, you may have like a similar hobby in video games, but a different taste in video games, which causes you to be able to talk, but then you're just like, oh shit, I don't understand what the hell you're saying. Like like if I were to like talk to my cousin about like wrestling, and I was just like, oh man, you should have seen the match between Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. It was fucking sick. Escobar almost got left out for the fucking 10 count, but then Mysterio hit the fucking springboard DDT, dropped Escobar down, but Escobar hit him with a fucking. He got up, he hit the fucking kip up, fucking hit a super kick on Mysterio. He went to the top rope and he hit a fucking 450 splash. Like if I were to like sit there and fucking say that shit to anyone, most people would just be like, "What are you saying? What the fuck is a count out? What is a 450? What is a kip up?" Like no, like none of that shit makes sense because when you talk, what people's basic knowledge on wrestling is like, "Oh, body slam." Like there's not even a body slam. There's no body slam in wrestling. There's a power slam, there's a scoop slam, there's like sit out scoop slams, sit out power slams, but a body slam isn't like a real move. There's a body splash, a body press, a cross body. But like, see, if I were to explain that, people would be like, "Oh yeah, body slam." But that's just because that's something I enjoy. That's like those are hobbies that I enjoy. So if I talk about it to people, the only person I know doesn't know anything about it, so it would just bounce off of him, and vice versa with his stuff bouncing off of me. So one of the bigger problems with hobbies is just talking about your hobbies. Because I can't go up to people and like talk about Pokemon. Like if I were talking about Pokemon to my cousin, like the most he knows is like Pikachu and Jigglypuff. Or actually his knowledge on that would be anything that's from Smash Bros and from Gen 1 because I actually don't know why he knows things about Gen 1. For some reason he knows like a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon. And I don't know why because I don't remember him ever. He did play Gen 5 because I told him he should play it, but he didn't play much. I don't know, whatever. Like, I can't talk about, like, oh, Pokemon. Like, I love Pokemon. I can talk about Pokemon for fucking hours. I can talk about Dead Space for hours. Like, hell, I'm still playing Persona 5 to this day. Like, I'm playing it right now. And, like, I could never talk about these games to anyone because it would just bounce off of them, even if I explained it. I think the closest I've come with my cousin to, like, connecting on a video game is when we fucking realized that my Steam still had Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on it, and we played that, and he wanted me to explain the entire Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Because I was a big loser, okay? I used to look up everything Five Nights at Freddy's. I was really big into it. And so that was like the only time that we actually like talked about a video game and kind of connected on it. But after that, I can't talk about any of my hobbies because I don't have anyone who shares my hobbies. And the same can be said with, well, for me to him, but I'm sure he has friends that connect with his hobbies. And the same could be said about anyone I've ever met in my life. But that's one of the bigger problems about hobbies is that sometimes you just can't talk to anyone about it. And it eats you up inside because you know how shitty it is to enjoy something and it's like something you really enjoy and it's like, God, you just want to speak about it. You just want to tell people about it. You want to be like, oh man, this fucking part was cool and this, but they're not going to get it and they're not going to care because they don't know anything about it. And even if I explain it, it's all just going to go in one ear and out the other because they haven't experienced it firsthand. So they're not going to care nor know. So I think that's a big problem with hobbies is just no one to talk about, which is kind of one of the things I was doing like with these videos. I was making videos where even though I wasn't talking to anyone, I was just talking about these games and wrestling and all these stuff that I enjoy because it was a nice like diversion of sorts. It was kind of like I was placating talking about my hobbies to someone. But obviously no one on the internet cares about my hobbies, but I'm never going to be able to establish a real world connection with anyone. So I mean, the best I can get for talking about my hobbies is pretending like I'm talking to someone on the internet. But yeah, I don't know. Talking about hobbies is one of those things that if honestly, I don't know, maybe it kind of feels like maybe there's a lot of people that deal with that where they have something they enjoy and they have no one to talk about it with. Because it is like one of the most like it just like really sucks. Like it is really fucking eats you up because it's just like you want to just like talk about how cool something was in like something you enjoy or how oh my god you should have seen this and oh my god this was cool because every time I play a video game I just want to like fucking like scream about how fucking much fun I had and how this part was cool and this game was awesome and god I love this, but none of it's going to matter or be understood, so it's just kind of like well why even talk about it if no one's going to care or understand. So yeah, I don't know, this is going to be just talking about hobbies because I don't know, like I don't know, it never really feels like there's like hobbies are just kind of like positive for you, but then when it comes to like hobbies between two people, it's always like a conversation where neither of you understand what the hell the other one's talking about, and you just kind of like sit there just like damn, I wish I had someone to talk to this about. But yeah, I don't know. I think most people would think that if I was talking about hobbies, it would be like kind of a either positive or neutral topic, and somehow I made it negative. Hooray, that's all I'm good at. So yeah, I don't know, hobbies are kind of depressing sometimes because it's just like, God damn, I want to express how much this thing is good or how much I love this thing. Because like literally all I ever do is talk about negative things. I don't have anything positive to talk about. Mostly because the only positive things I have to talk about are something that people would just kind of like brush aside and be like, I don't know anything about it, so I don't care. And the last thing you want when you talk about something that you love or care about is that you don't want people just brushing it away just because they don't understand it. So you just don't want to talk about the things you enjoy because people are just going to push it away because they don't understand it and they don't care to understand it because it's not something they want to understand. So I don't know. Of course, I was going to talk about hobbies in a depressing way. Shocker. So yeah, whatever.